But he knows the way that I take. When he has tried me, I shall come out as gold. Job 23:10. Chosen ones, my kindred spirits out there, it's Connie here. Welcome back to my channel. It feels good to be back. I took a break last week from uploading, and it was a very awesome time for me because I really felt like the Lord was calling me to do an extended fast. Usually I just do once a week, but this one was like 3 days in a row. And I know as Christians we're not supposed to tell people that we fasted because it's inappropriate, but I just wanted to tell you because that's to explain the reason why my voice sounds a little strange. Like I can feel it's very nasally and congested, okay? It is not a cold. What happened during this fast that I did was really incredible. My body reacted by going into what's called a Herxheimer reaction. It's also known as a healing crisis, okay? So what happens is there is a bacteria die-off in your intestinal tract, and it like releases toxins into your bloodstream. And so then now your body has to respond to the toxins, and then it responds with an immune response. And so what happened was it triggered me getting just like crazy mucus, phlegm, postnasal drip, all just being purged out of my system. This happened like literally the next day, okay? Came out of nowhere. I just started sneezing like crazy. Nothing different happened in terms of our house or anything like that. So it was a healing response. And I'm so thankful for the Lord because I felt like I was being healed, not just spiritually, mentally, emotionally, but also on a cellular level, like within the physical cells in my body. Okay, so I'm still purging. So that's why I wanted to explain to you why I sound so congested. Okay, it's not even a cold. The Lord was telling me last week during my fast that before the breakthrough, there is a breakdown. Okay, before the breakthrough, there is a breakdown. Okay, and this is very biblical. Okay, and he had me be in the book of Job and really contemplating this book. The entire book is suffering. Job is going through suffering. And in the midst of the suffering, he is asking, where is God? Okay? And the whole time, God is there. It's not like he just totally abandoned Job, even though it may feel like it to Job. God was there the whole time, watching the unfolding of all of this, because from the beginning, it was almost like a wager between God and Satan as to how Job was going to respond, how he was going to react to all the calamity that was happening in his life. And it's not just like small stuff. It's huge, life-altering things that would easily make somebody go insane or feel like God has abandoned them. Basically, Job gets all his property, his kind of material wealth kind of just goes away. It's all taken away. And also his children, his own flesh and blood children are taken away from him. Okay? Now, as a parent, if you lose a child, it's almost like you're losing a part of yourself. You're like losing a limb. Okay? It's devastating. Okay? So Job is going through all this. Satan is wreaking havoc on Joel's life, but as we know from the beginning, even before Satan had the permission to go and do this to Job, he had a talk with God, and the reason why God said okay and allowed Satan to touch Job's possessions and all of those things and wreak havoc in his life and bring devastation and calamity and suffering, was because God considered Job righteous and blameless. He considered Job his righteous servant. Okay? And if he wasn't righteous, God would not have allowed Satan to do what he did. Okay? It was because he considered Job to be righteous that he said, okay, go ahead. And that's what made it a challenge. That's what made it a real test. Okay? God considered Job righteous. Okay? And that's the reason why he allowed Satan to do what he did. That's a really important point that I have to make. Because if Job was just any other Joe Schmo off the street, wasn't that, great of a... God didn't consider him much, in terms of righteousness. And he wasn't special to God, okay? Then it wouldn't really have been much of a... Like I said, it wouldn't have been much of a test. So the devil said, hey, look, to God, he said, I'm going to take away all this stuff. I'm going to take away this and this and this from Job, and we're going to see if he's still going to worship you. Watch, I'm going to make it so devastating for him that he's going to curse you to your face. Okay? And in Job 23 verse 10, Job said, he knows the way that I take. He knows the way that I take, meaning God already knew the outcome. God already knew that Job was going to stand fast. He was not going to turn his back on God. He was going to ask God why. He was going to cry in agony and say, God, where are you? Why are you? What's happening to me? I need you right now. What did I do? Why is this happening to me? He's going to ask the question, why? But he wasn't going to ever curse God. And God knew that, but Satan did. See, Satan doesn't know all. The devil doesn't know all. God knows all. The devil thinks that he could do all these things and think that he's going to have the victory. That's the way the devil works. He always thinks that he's going to have the victory. It's a delusional mindset. And that's how deluded he is, that he can go up to God and say, hey, I'm going to do this to your righteous servant, and watch what he's going to do. And who got the glory in the end? Who received the glory? God did. God did. And not only did God receive the glory, but he restored everything that Job had lost, and then some. Job received double for his trouble. Okay? But before the blessing of all of that, there was a breaking down. There was a breaking him down. Like, to the point where I'm sure he was this close, and he even had his fake friends. Job had his fake friends say, you must have done something wrong. You must have done something wicked. You are wicked to receive all this calamity in your life, all these curses in your life. You must have done something. And he didn't. Okay? And so I see even his friends. Okay? People just like to look at all the things that the devil did, take away his property, take away his children. But there's also his friends in here. The devil even uses people in your life to break you down. And they might not even know. I'm sure they weren't even aware of what they were doing. I mean, talk about adding salt to a wound, or whatever they call it. Adding insult to injury is what they call it. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to talk about this today was because just how personal it is for me. This past year, It was an incredible year of growth, of revelations, of realizations of who I am. But the whole time, the devil was right there. I'm telling you guys, 100% facts and truth right now, and total honesty. As wonderful as it was to get my spiritual gifts activated, to know my value, to know the way God sees me, to know my worth, the devil was right there. And in a sense, was taking that great thing that God was doing and also trying to break me down. So when I look back at the past year, what happened to me, see, something good happening and something bad happening all at the same time. They're parallel, they're going on at the same time. Oh, this is deep, you guys. This is so deep. The devil will try to... So let me go back. Looking back at the past year, what had happened? I was full on pursuing the Lord, pursuing Him in the Word, Bible study, doing church, serving at church. I was doing all of that, and all of a sudden, I quit my Bible study. I almost stopped going to church for good. I had such a contempt for the people in the church. And some of them are probably God's children and some of them are not. But that's not my business to know. That's not my business to point fingers. So while there was something amazing happening, there was also something very dark. And that's why I talked about the dark night of the soul. You know, it reminds me also of the garden. As soon as God made the pinnacle of His creation, which was the human being, Satan was right there. He was right there from the beginning to corrupt the pinnacle of God's creation, which was the human being. As soon as Jesus was born, Herod, who was the leader at the time, Herod was king at the time, sorry. I was having a brain fart there. What happened? The Messiah, the one that would bring many sons to glory with the shedding of His blood on the cross, was almost killed as a baby. You see, God sent Jesus, His one and only Son, to redeem man back into right relationship with God the Father. This wonderful thing that God is doing for humanity. And there's the devil right there to try to rip it away and to corrupt the plans of God, which can ultimately never be thwarted. God's plans will always prevail. In fact, God will use the enemy to carry out His plans. That is the genius of God. That is the brilliance of God. And it's unmatched. The devil cannot match it. So even when the devil thinks that he's winning, he's actually helping God carry out God's plans. So for me, looking back on this past year, I see this whole experience, this whole journey that I've been on as the biggest test of my life. I saw how easy it was for me to slip back into my old sin, which was I came from New Age. Okay, before I was a Christian, I was a New Ager, into yoga. I wasn't really into crystals or tarot or cards or astrology, but I was very much into kind of being my own god, okay? And that is idolatry in and of itself, aside from all the other things, you know. I saw how easy it was to be drawn into that again, okay? I had clues that the devil was there when people on my Instagram, psychics and witches were messaging me on my Instagram asking me if I wanted a reading, and I was very tempted to do that. I literally had 3 or 4 witches reach out to me on my Instagram. I was tempted to get readings from them. I used to get psychic readings before I became a Christian. And that is a sin that I thought that I was done with, that I was, just done. I was just like, that's just ridiculous, right? And here I am, here it is coming back to me, coming back and tempting me. And this time, I was actually kind of open to it. But I never did it. I never crossed that threshold, because the Lord says He knows the way that I take. This whole past year of wonderful self-discovery, knowing my value and worth, the devil was right there. The devil was right there the whole time. This was a test. The Lord has told me last week during my fast, I didn't have clarity, you guys. I didn't have complete clarity on this whole journey and what happened to me. It was very like, okay, what is this? What is this, God? It was a test. It was a breaking down. This thing also impacted my marriage. The devil was after my marriage, seeking to destroy it. And I see that so clearly now. Satan took this beautiful thing of self-realization and self-worth and said, you know what? You deserve better than this. You deserve better than this marriage. You deserve better than where you're living right now. You deserve better than how you're living right now. That's when it starts to get dangerous. That is the test. And the Lord had to tell me, you don't deserve anything better than what I've already given you, my child. Have you forgotten where I brought you from? Oh, you guys. You guys don't know. You see, when you know your value and your worth, Satan will take something like that and say, you're entitled to certain things. You're entitled to this. You're entitled to that. You deserve better. You need to go after this and that. And for a while, I was in that space. But praise be to God, He knows the way that I take. He has restored. He has restored me. And another level of healing has happened. I'm just telling you guys the truth right now. The Lord has given me a peace that I haven't felt for over a year. Finally, I want to talk about the most important aspect of this breakthrough. Before the breakthrough is the breaking down. And I want to remind you of who was broken down, whose body was broken and crushed for us on a cross, on a Roman cross. In that breaking process, which is essentially being done by the devil, only somebody of the spirit of Antichrist could do that to the Son of the living God. God used the evil of the most innocent, blameless, righteous figure. See, Job is just a foreshadow. See, Job is a foreshadowing of Christ. Everything, the whole Bible, the whole entire Word of God is about Jesus. The breaking down looks like God is not there. It feels like God has abandoned you. It is dark. Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? Is what Jesus said. And the truth of the matter is, just like in Job, God never left. God saw it all because He ordained it. He ordained it. Chosen one. And I talked about this in my suffering video. The breaking down has to be in your life. It has to be occurring in your life. It will have occurred in your life, or it is going to occur in your life. And 3 days later, the breakthrough. The 3 days later is not a literal 3 days. I'm talking about for you, it's right around the corner. You must be broken down before you get your breakthrough. And my God, Jesus was raised to glory. He was raised to life. And is King of the universe, sitting at the right hand of the Father in majesty. Give Him glory and give Him praise when you are being broken down. He knows the way that you're going to take. And it might seem like He's gone, He's abandoned you, like the devil is winning. But no. You have victory because Jesus gave you the victory on the cross. That's all I got for you today. I love you. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.